back to Harmony Yoga. So it's been a couple days since I came to you on YouTube or Facebook. I hit the wall the other day. How many of you would say the same? Maybe some days are a little harder than others. And boy, I have all the comforts of home. I'm right here at peace, but there's something about the anxiety and the distance, the depression, I think that can set in for any of us on any given day. So my hope is that when this pandemic is finally settled in and we kind of come to these new understandings, that we would all have a more empathetic and sympathetic heart for people that struggle with anxiety and depression every day. For most of it, most of us, I'm sure it comes and goes, but for a lot of people, it's an everyday thing. And the other day I had the luxury to listen to Father Greg Boyle, who is the founder of Homeboy Industries out of Los Angeles. He works with people in the gangs, and he is doing a tremendous job, and I want to say it's been 30 years or something like that. So the people that he works with, he says, he has so much admiration for them that he doesn't necessarily teach them, but they really teach and open his heart. He says, when you go out to the margins for people, and that can mean a myriad of things to be on the margin, that simply opening your ears and listening is the greatest thing you can do, and ultimately it opens your own heart. And so he says that a lot of times the big thing he does for these people that really need him, is helping them anchor their mind in their body. And that is such a yoga message, right? That is what makes us feel so good when we come to our mat, because it forces our mind and our body and our spirit together in such a beautiful way. And I don't mean force, but it invites. And you almost can't help but be on your mat and become integrated mind and body and spirit. So join me today, sitting up nice and tall. Connect with your breath. And I just want you to know that if you're struggling with some anxiety and some depression, you're not alone. You're not alone. There are a lot of people that are struggling right now, and really, I would say even before this pandemic, there were a lot of people struggling. And the more we normalize that, the more we talk about it, the more we invite other people in, we can put words to it, and all of a sudden it doesn't have quite the angst that it did when we keep it in the quiet of our heart. So allow your heart to breathe, allow your heart to be open, and allow yourself to be just as you are today. So I come to you humbly with great respect for you for coming to your mat over and over and over. I think it's more important that you come every day for just a little check-in than it is for long, lengthy classes, and surely the fancy poses are not part of what I'm interested in teaching. I'm interested in teaching those tools that help us thrive in our life every day. So be here, and allow God or your Creator to enter in, and allow that breath to be that tool that helps to knit us together so we become integrated and whole, sitting right here on our simple mat, grounded and heart open. When I get into this position, I wonder why I don't do this more often. I feel comfortable, I feel protected, I feel surrounded by love and grace. I even imagine angels around me by just calling in that sacred help. Coming to this place where all is well, anchored in this present moment, connected to the breath. The breath becomes the spirit that helps unite the mind and the body. And we invite that mind to quiet, and the mind is still going to do what the mind does. That's its job. We can start to give it a break. So when we're here in this present moment, it's not as easy for the mind to spin into the future, into the unknown. And it's not so easy for the mind to go back in the past and be sad about something that happened. So when we come into this present moment, in this slice of time, all is well. Come here with me. And then staying here as long as you like, or get ready to come to a standing position. And we're going to start out with a very wonderful warm-up by just inhaling, letting the mind lift with the heart, and exhaling, letting the arms float down on the breath. We're going to go back and forth here, taking your time. Such a simple way to begin to open the body, connecting the mind, the body and the spirit. And then in your time, you may start to move your knees, or maybe you stay with your legs straight and just keep focusing on the breath. Either way that works for you. This is your practice. This is your time. You can even pause this video and take more time. Sweeping down, maybe even just grazing the earth as you exhale down and inhale up. And let's go one more here. And if you've been sitting, feel free to join us when you're ready. This next time you exhale, come down to your forward fold using your block or bending your knees. And then we're going to come from the earth and we're going to inhale up halfway and exhale, release down. And inhale up. And in your time, you may find, oh, I can leave my legs a little straighter than when I first started. Going back and forth here. Let's go one more time up. And exhale down. And now you're going to take your right leg back. So if you didn't start at the front of your mat, go ahead and move yourself to the front. Then step that right leg back, dropping that back knee and reaching your arms up to the sky. Scissor your legs together, hug your arms together. Taking a deep breath here. And then slowly start to turn. Right hand comes to the left knee, left hand opens behind you. So yesterday we did a couple days ago, we did a twisted clasp where we moved the right lung over toward the center line. See if you can stay with that. Good, and then moving your hands back to the earth. Move your hips back, draw your toes back, and then inhale, bend the knee, reach the crown of the head forward. And we're going to go back and forth here with the breath. Exhaling back and inhaling forward. Let's go one more. Inhaling forward. Good, and then straighten the back leg. Step back to a downward facing dog. So fingers are spread wide. Press down through the fingertips. The heel of the palm is still on the earth, but it's not bearing the load. It's pressing down. So all of the palm pressing down. The middle of the palm is pulled up. Bend the knees. Lift the hips. Maybe the legs straighten, maybe they don't. Bring that right foot up between the hands. Drop the back knee down, or in reverse order. Drop the back knee down. Bring the right foot forward. Inhale, squeezing the legs together. Feel the squeeze of the legs, the hugging in, help that give you some length. From that length now, we're going to turn. Left hand comes to the outside of the right knee, right hand comes behind you. Inhale, pull in, low back, heart lifts. Good, and then bring your hands back to the earth. Pulling your toes back, moving your hips back. You're going to decide how far, and then inhaling, reaching forward, and exhaling, moving back. One more time here. Inhale forward, exhale back, Good, and then bring both knees together here, come into an all fours position. Now, keeping the toes curled under and the knees down, the hips right over the knees, I just want you to come down onto your forearms and rest your head on your stacked arms. This is a little variation of child's pose. Connecting back with the breath, anchoring yourself in this present moment, feeling the parts of the body that are moving toward the earth. Good, and then come up to all fours. Pick up your left toes and take them out to the left side of your mat. Push down through the left hand, reach the right leg back, and keep both hands down, or begin to stack the hips and reach the right arm over the ear. So now your right heel is reaching over behind you and the right fingertips in front of you. Maybe even turning and looking up under that right shoulder. Good, dropping the toes, the whole foot now, that right foot. And then cartwheel your hands up, so now your right hand is going down your right leg and your left arm is reaching up toward the sky. Notice my right foot is in alignment with the short end of my mat. Good, and reach your hands down, kind of cartwheeling back, come back to all fours, and then take the right toes out to the right. Right hand pushes down, reach the left leg back. This might be your posture right here. That's awesome. Or you start to reach the left arm over, stacking the hips, that makes it so much easier, and then extending out in both directions and maybe even looking up under your left armpit. Good, and placing that foot down on the ground. Again, the toes are going to be facing now the front of the mat. The side of the foot is parallel to the small edge. And then cartwheel the arms up, left hand down the left leg, right arm up and over. Turn the corners of your mouth up. Give your heart that smile. You smile with your mouth and your heart can't help it. Maybe you've heard of laughter yoga, where you just start laughing for no reason, and pretty soon you find everything funny. So that's kind of a fun way to look at it. Okay, so this time what we're going to do is bring the right toes forward again. This time you can keep that back knee down. We're going to go through what we just did, or you can straighten the back leg. Inhale, bring your arms up to the sky. Left hand to the right knee, right hand behind you. Notice this is the same thing that we just did from a bent-legged position. Now that leg is straight. And then again, we're going to bring the fingertips down, reach the head and heart forward on the inhale, and exhale, begin to move the hips back and go back and forth here. Inhaling, and maybe your hips don't lift all the way, the legs don't need to be straight. You're going to work with what you have, moving from the inside out. So rather than trying to make your body look a certain way, let's go with what the action is of moving the hips back. Whether that leg straightens or not doesn't matter. Good, and then step that back foot forward, forward fold. And then step the right leg back. Dropping the back knee down or keeping that leg straight. Scissor the legs together. Allow that to give you the stability and support to rise up. Stay here with the breath. Hug in one more time. Allow that length to come through the spine, and then turn. Right hand to the left knee, left hand behind you. Enjoying that twist here, moving the right lung over. One more inhale. And exhale, hands down. Moving the hips back and bending the knee forward. Matching the breath. Let's go one more round here. And then step back to downward facing dog. If you're like me and you've got your block right in the middle, go ahead and move it out to the side, because now we're going to come forward to plank. Long side body, rotate the shoulders back, bend the elbows, lower down, dropping the knees if you need to. Untuck the toes, drag the hands back, lift up to cobra. And exhale down. And inhale, lift the legs, reach the fingertips back. And exhale, release. Stack the arms one more time, rest the head. Rise up onto your right forearm. The left hand, reach back and grab the left foot. Walk your knees together, lower the hips. Inhale. Reach the heel toward your bum. You can reach the right leg back too. That gives you a little more opening on the right side. Then you can start to turn and look over your right shoulder. Press the knee down, scoop the tailbone. Good, and release. Let's rest one more time and notice the difference between your right and left leg. Maybe even your whole right and left side. How about that? Maybe your whole left side feels engaged right now. Come up onto your left forearm, reach around, grab your right ankle, walk the knees together, and then bending that elbow, move the heel toward the bum and turn and look over your left shoulder. Scoop the tailbone, press the knee down. Good, release. Let's rest one more time. Now notice the difference between your right and left sides of the body. What I love about that is you're not judging that. You're just listening to the body. You're being anchored into the feelings of the body. So the mind is here. You're present. You're right here now. The greatest gift you can give to yourself and to others around you is to be present in the moment. Now, you can do one more time each side, or do both together. So, sometimes it's hard to grab the feet. Okay, so you can take your knees wide until you find your feet, then bring your knees together. Then kick your feet back. Allow that to be a nice shoulder opener here. Relax down. Again, resting. We're going to do one more time with both feet. So if you're doing one at a time, you've got the ability to do the other side now. Okay, so if you're going to do two, reach back, find the foot. Okay, here's what we want to do first. Lift the inner thighs, scoop the tailbone. That will help create a little more opening in the low back. Kicking the feet back. And then release, let's push back to child's pose. Or you can stay in that rabbit pose that we did earlier. Or just walk your hips all the way back by moving your arms back. Stacking the arms, using your block, or outstretching your arms. Okay, let's go ahead and come to downward facing dog. Let's reach the left knee forward, walk the right leg back, and come into pigeon. Another very grounding posture here. So lift your hips. Take the inner thighs out to the left, drag your right hip forward, left hip back. Release your head down to your arms, to your block, or to the mat. Pay attention to the breath. Walk yourself up. Take your right foot around to the outside of the left knee. You can straighten this left leg or keep it bent. Take your left hand to the outside of the right knee, right hand behind you. Allow that right hand pushing into the earth to lift the low back and lift the heart, and then turn and look over the right shoulder. Take your awareness to the left lung. Move the left lung to the midline. Good. Reach the right knee down to the mat. Stretch your left leg back. And we'll come into pigeon on this side. So the toes are curled under on the left leg, so the muscles are active on that whole left side. And then lift your hips and flare out to the right. Right hip back, left hip forward. Walk yourself forward. This might be your posture right here. Your posture might be with a brick under that hip, or maybe you're flat on the floor. Either way, there is inherent goodness in any of these poses at whatever level you're at, because like I said before, it's really about anchoring you into the body. And these practices are so varied because we get into a lot of different angles and a lot of different connective tissue, and the front and back, side, all different ways we get into the body. We create that balance through this mixture of postures. Staying with the breath here, let's take a couple more rounds. The inhale is nourishing. The exhale is emptying out. Good, and then walk yourself up. Bring the left leg around to the outside of the right ankle, right hand to the outside of the left knee, and then notice when I push my fingers into the earth, my low back lifts and my heart can then lift. The spine is in a position to turn. So we don't ever want to force, right? We're going to move that left lung or the right lung over to the midline. So we're integrating, connecting, anchoring ourselves here. Good. Unwind. This time we're going to straighten out the left leg. I'll face you this way. So straightening out the left leg with the sole of the right foot into the inseam. Take your hands to the thigh, to the knee, or to the shin, wherever is comfortable for you, and inhale, push the hips back, lift the low back and the heart. And then attempt to reach the heart even maybe beyond the foot. So we're not thinking about sinking to the ground, but we're staying lifted and long and reaching forward. Take a deep inhale and exhale. One more inhale, exhaling down, and inhale, lift. And let's switch. The sole of the left foot into the inseam of the right, hands wherever is comfortable for you, moving the hips back, lifting the low back and the heart, feeling the whole spine elongate as you do that, and then exhaling, reaching the heart forward. That keeps the spine long and tall, creating some space. So playing with the breath here and allowing the breath to just move you in subtle ways rather than forcing yourself forward. Good, and inhale, rise. Straighten both legs and push into the ground behind you. Pause here, close your eyes. Feel your body from the inside out. Good, and then release that, lowering down onto your back. Hug the right knee in. Lengthening out the left leg through the heel. Taking the right leg out to the right. And then bring the sole of your right foot into the inseam of your left leg. So it's a lying tree posture. You can even lift your arms up overhead. Good, and straighten out your right leg. Feel the difference between your right and left side. And then hug your left knee in. Take the left knee out to the left. And the sole of the left foot into the right inseam. Reaching the arms overhead, or you can keep the hands connected at the heart or down by your hips. And release that left leg long, coming into your Shavasana position, pressing your elbows down, lifting and opening the heart, letting your feet naturally open to the side. Feel the parts of the body that are moving toward the earth. The bones are heavy. Skin on the back side is reaching down, and the skin on the front is just nice and draped over those strong and beautiful bones. Softening the tension in the jaw, the eyes, the scalp. Let go of any expectation. Let go of your need to know what comes next. Come right back here in this present moment where there's nothing to do, nowhere to be. Nobody's asking anything of you. But just to turn inward to yourself and anchor the mind with the body and the breath. Did you know we actually create time in our day when we take the time to turn inward? The rest of the day will slow down and be present. It will show up for you in a way that's helpful, kind, and at a pace that works for you. So as soon as your mind starts to tell you you don't have time to practice your yoga or your meditation or your prayer, remind the mind that it's not in charge. Your higher self guides you back every time if we just listen. Begin to notice if you can feel your connection with your higher self. You can call that intuition, you can call that God, you can call that source. Draw a deep breath in and send that breath down your legs. Exhale out the bottoms of your feet. Inhale through the nose. And let that breath come down the arms and exhale out your fingers. Even straighten your fingers out and then relax the fingers. This time as you inhale, take that breath down your left leg and your right arm. So we're going to inhale together and then flex the left foot straighten out the right fingers. And don't worry if you can't get this on the first try. We're going to go back and forth here. Inhale. Send the breath down your right leg and your left arm and flex your right leg. Straighten out. Flex your right foot. Straighten out your left fingers and come back. So let's go back to the left foot and the right arm. Inhale. Flex the left foot, straighten out the right fingers, and come back. And to the other side. Inhaling. Left fingers, right foot, and relax. And this time let's do just the left side. So inhale. Straighten the left fingers, flex the left foot, exhale, inhale, flex the right foot, straighten the right fingers, exhale, bring both knees to your chest, rock here side to side, rolling over onto your right side and then coming up to a seated position. Oh, thank you so much for practicing with me today. This is a practice that keeps me going. I hope it's a practice that keeps you going. And right now there are so many great resources out on the internet, so make yourself available to those messages. Christine Coveri-Weber is a great teacher, teaches about subtle yoga. So look her up. Look up Father Greg Boyle and Homeboy Industries, and consider going out to the margins. And in this current situation, the margin might be your spouse, to someone who might be hurting today, and can you just listen? Allow your heart to expand and open by simply listening, sharing your heart. Thank you for being here with me today. Peace be with you.